Welcome back everybody, my name's Nick930 and today I wanted to give you guys 5 helpful tips for Rainbow Six Siege. Today's video is going to focus on Capitão. Capitão is a high-speed, low-armor attacking operator armed with an assault rifle and a special crossbow that can fire incendiary and smoke grenade bolts. He's probably one of the least useful operators overall, but if you're good at fast-paced and aggressive gunplay, he's not that bad of a choice. Here's a few helpful tips to help you get the most out of him. Number 1. Fast repositioning. I found that the most effective means of using Capitão is to be consistently moving and to keep your enemies guessing. Capitão is armed with tons of devices that can all be used to confuse and distract your enemies. Make full use of all of his devices in every round and avoid standing still as much as possible. I found that moving back and forth between doorways on opposite sides of an objective and alternating between crossbow bolts, flashbangs, and suppressive fire helps keep enemies confused and keeps them from holding a safe position. This tactic is most useful when dealing with 1 or 2 hostiles, so I'd reserve this tactic for the end of rounds when you're stuck going 1-on-1 or 1v2. Number 2. Firewalls. Capitão's main gadget is a special crossbow equipped with incendiary bolts. These bolts have a really low area of effect and are practically useless if you miss your target, but can be useful as a means of denying access to entry points. If you are moving into a room and know the enemy is likely going to be moving into the same room, use your incendiary bolts to block doorways. They'll either have to rush through the fire and take a lot of damage, or wait for the fire to fade away, which can give you a huge advantage. Number 3. Camper hunting. Another good use of the incendiary bolts is to fire them into popular camping corners. I recommend using a drone first to make sure you're not wasting one of your bolts, but some spots are generally a safe bet, and you can quickly pop around the corner and fire a bolt into these spots to scare enemies out of those tough to reach corners. One good example is that corner room near the snowmobile garage and chalet. You could also try firing these bolts into drone vents, but I've had less luck with that tactic. Number 4. Flashbangs. It's easy to forget that Capitão also has access to 3 flashbangs because you're focused so much on making good use of that crappy crossbow. But these flashbangs are generally a more effective tool for breaching rooms. When throwing them into a room, make sure it lands in the center of the room, preferably on top of any tables or cabinets that would otherwise block the explosion. Don't hesitate after throwing these devices, be ready to sprint straight into the room after it detonates, and find a safe corner to defend. Take out any enemies in sight and try to focus only on the room that you just breached. You can also try bouncing flashbangs off of door frames to reduce the risk of being spotted as you round the corner to throw it in. Remember that these flashbangs are not perfect, and if any object is blocking the defender's view when it detonates, then the defender will likely be able to see you perfectly fine, so use these with extreme caution. If anything, the sound the flashbang makes is about the most reliable feature and can be used to mask your footsteps and climbing sounds. And number 5. Smoke bolts. Capitão has an odd secondary gadget ammo for his crossbow. At any time, you can switch from your default incendiary bolts to a seemingly less useful smoke bolt. These bolts emit a blue smoke and function similarly to the normal smoke grenades some of the other attackers use. The nice thing about these bolts though is that you can shoot them directly as opposed to carefully lobbing a grenade and hoping it lands where you want it. Like I said before, use these smoke grenades to your advantage. Block important sight lines like long hallways in Bartlett. When reaching a room, instead of shooting the smokes directly at the door you plan on breaching, shoot them into the room on the sides to block views of common defensive positions. This gives you an opportunity to move into the door and defenders will be forced to stay still, stuck in a cloud of smoke. Until the patch next week, these smoke grenades are client-side, so what appears to be a thick cloud of smoke may not be as clear as it is for other players in the game, but firing multiple smoke grenades and at different intervals should help cover your movement better. Next week, the big Season 3 patch should change Capitão's smokes temporarily from blue to gray, and the smoke effect should be much more significant, so I recommend practicing with Capitão and other operators using smoke grenades now, as they're going to be much more effective soon. And that's it for Capitão. I hope this video was helpful. I plan on making more videos like this. Be sure to leave a comment below on what you'd like to see next, and be sure to like and subscribe if you want to see more Rainbow Six tips and tricks.